We're going to start the program in about 15 minutes or so. So there are seconds, so please go help yourself. There's even a few more spring rolls left, so feel free to go back. There are cookies out there, coffee, decaf. So cookies, coffee, decaf. The restrooms are down the hall and to the right. And kids will go back into that corner with Pastor Sarah, and then she'll be the boss of the kids. So, yeah. All right, so enjoy. Okay, kids, you can head to the back now with Pastor Sarah and her helpers. We're going to start in just a couple minutes. So.
In the morning when my heart is cold, you're the heat for my weary soul. You're the good in all I know. In the mirror, all that I see is your grace looking back at me. I'm not the man that I used to be. You're this song rising from my heart. And everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. And everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Yeah. And in the evening when my bones are tired, you're my strength and my heart's desire. You're the light when the sun expires. And I remember how far I've gone. I'm not lost with you, I'm home. I didn't find you on my own. Yeah. 'Cause you're this song rising from my heart. And everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. And everything comes alive. everything comes alive. And my heart is beating to the rhythm of your love. My feet are running ever faster to your grace. My heart is beating to the rhythm of your love. My feet are running ever faster, 'cause everything comes alive. And everything comes alive. Yeah. Everything comes alive. And everything comes alive. Alive. Yeah. 'Cause everything comes alive. Yeah. Everything comes alive. Hey. And everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Alive. And you're
Well, welcome everyone to our Miracle of Mobility event for 2023. My name is Ron Johnson. Thank you for investing a couple hours of your Saturday. I guarantee it will be time well spent. In fact, Michael, didn't we say it was a money-back guarantee, right? If you didn't have I think you'll probably be glad you didn't stay home and watch the Mariner game. But the Husky game will be on when you get home. So, yeah, we'll still root for that. But hopefully everybody enjoyed the Thai dinner. Our special guest, Nuka Solomon, who you'll be hearing from here in just a minute, recently visited Thailand. So we thought, a Thai meal, that seems to fit well. And I'm glad she didn't come from one of those other countries where I looked at the list of special delicacies by other countries. If it was China, we'd have to start with bird nest soup. I don't know if that would have gone over. Cambodia, the favorite appetizer there is fried tarantulas. And I guess live octopus is a thing in Korea. Is that a thing? Oh, okay. But here's what takes it all. The delicacy in Indonesia, and we're not serving this tonight, is excrement coffee. Yeah, so Indonesia just came off my travel bucket list, I think. Hey, I want to take just a minute and remember George Duff. We simply would not be here without George Duff. He was who introduced Free Wheelchair Mission to this church. He even served as advisor to the founder of Free Wheelchair Mission, Don Schoendorfer, and he had been part of every event we've done here for 15 to 20 years until tonight, unfortunately. And about 7 years ago, I think George would have been around, 75, I think, or 85, I think, and he said, "Ron, I'm getting a little old. Can you take over as point person?" So it's been an honor to try to fill George's shoes. His wife Marilyn is here tonight. His daughters Doreen and Laura and son Bruce with their families. So God bless you guys. George created quite a legacy of generosity for not just Free Wheelchair Mission, but lots of organizations, and I know you guys will be carrying that on. So we've already had one very successful campaign for Free Wheelchair Mission here at the church, and it was with our kids at VBS. So Pastor Sarah, where is Pastor Sarah? Oh, there you are. I was going to have her come up and share. It was her idea to do this, but just tell us why you did it and what happened and all that.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. First of all, I love that this is a family-friendly space, although there are many, many kids, and I didn't know this many would come, but I think it's so great because I think growing up, was exposed to even events like this. And I just, for all you parents out there, kids are watching and they will become what they see. And so I think it's so great that we have a space for our children here. But with that said, this past July was our first ever Vacation Bible School here at Encounter Church on Mercer Island. And we had about 50 kids come out this year. So what we did, it was really simple. We had 6 teams led by their peers, and their goal was to raise enough money on their own for 2 wheelchairs per team. And I thought it was a steep goal because it was 5 days, but that's about $1,200. And so each team was in charge of a country. But if we can learn anything from kids, it's that they have such an innate competitiveness and generosity. Just watching these videos, it didn't take much. They had so much compassion for the people on the screen. Just hearing the stories, and within 5 days, they had raised on their own $1,500, and we were able to, can we get a clap for it's those kids back there? Yeah, so many of them as well. But so we were able to come up with 15 wheelchairs, and it was just an amazing opportunity to just teach them just really tangible compassion and what it looks like to live like Jesus. So at least for us here at Encounter Church Children's Ministry, it was a great opportunity, and we really look forward to more ways to just connect with Free Wheelchair Mission. And thank you so much for letting me just share that.
Thank you, Sarah. Great job with all of that. I'd like to introduce our very special guest, Nuka Solomon. Nuka has been with Free Wheelchair Mission for about 6-7 years and is the current CEO. So she oversees all the operations and strategic initiatives. And Pastor Michael and Nuka met a couple months ago, and you guys just hit it off. So that was great to see. Nuka is going to share about her latest, or recent trip to Thailand where she met Narong. She's also going to share some of the latest news about Free Wheelchair Mission. But we'll start with Narong's story from Thailand, and we've got a short video to show.
My name is Narong. I have been married for 19 years and have 2 children. I made my living fixing cars. 4 years ago, our lives were turned upside down. I went to the doctor because I needed surgery. But during the procedure, something went horribly wrong. Because of the surgery, I became paralyzed, and now I will never walk again. It was devastating for me and my family. How was I going to play with my children again? Right after this, my mother-in-law got sick with cancer. My wife was already taking care of me, and now also her mother. Without a wheelchair, we could not have made it through. But even with our struggles, I choose to be positive. The wheelchair from Free Wheelchair Mission has changed everything for us. The wheels are like my legs now. I can do anything like I normally would. I can go almost anywhere. I can shower by myself, make food, relieve the burdens from my wife, and provide for my family. One day, I carved out a coconut as a cup for coffee. My neighbor saw it and suggested I make more of them and sell them. Now I have a business selling those cups and all kinds of artwork from materials around me. I even make brooms for sweeping, and I can play with my children again. I refused to view myself as a burden. With my wheelchair, my daughter saw that her father did not give up. I may not be able to use my legs, but I can use my hands to make my family proud of me again. Thank you, and God bless you, Free Wheelchair Mission.
Please welcome Nuka Solomon.
Wow, that's bright. Thanks, Ron. And thanks, Pastor Michael, for having us here and Encounter. And thank you, Monica, for all your hard work in planning all this with me and the team. Thanks to the team that's not here. Thanks to Walton Thelma and Peggy and the whole crew, everybody, even Tess, who's taking those pictures over there. We cannot do our work without people like you here on Mercer Island, here in the greater Seattle region. We need all of you to do this work. It's really important work. And I'm just so thankful that I could come back here. I haven't been here since 2019 in terms of speaking to all of you. And I just feel so blessed to have this opportunity. So thank you, thank you. So you just saw a video that hopefully touched your heart. And obviously, it summarizes our work. It shows a story of somebody who got a wheelchair, whose life was changed. Somebody from a faraway place in Thailand, where they have excellent food, by the way. But what I want you to take away from that story is that Narang is just like all of us. Whether you're a dad or not, a mom or not, he has hopes, he has dreams, and ultimately, he didn't want to be a burden on his family. We've all been there. We want independence. We want to be able to thrive. We don't want to be a problem for anyone else. And because of his disability and something that happened to him in surgery, he then felt that he was going to be a burden. Without a wheelchair, he didn't feel like he had that chance. And his wife that you saw there on the video would then have to deal with those challenges. Could you show some of the pictures from my trip? So, thank you, Rob. So you could see him here, and that's his daughter. She's so cute, by the way. And we had the opportunity to go to his home. And I always say, when you get to go to these places, it's about seeing how people live and then relating it to your own experience so you can then understand more what difference that wheelchair does make. What I took away from them is that they're a family. They have hopes, they have dreams, they have desires, they have wants. But without a wheelchair, all of that came crashing down for him. But with the wheelchair, he got hope. He felt less marginalized. He felt like somebody cared, and he felt like he could do something. And you saw that he was, and right there in the picture you could see, he figured out a way through a coconut to make sculptures and crafts that could be sold. So now you have a person who's made something positive come from a negative. And the wheelchair was the way that came to be. So often when we're in this work, we see people like Narang who may have been able to walk before, and they need a lift after something tragic has happened. It could be an accident, it could be a natural disaster, it could be due to malnutrition. But ultimately, what's the consistent thing that we see is that people feel lost, they don't feel recognized, they feel forgotten. And it's the same here in our country, right? There's so many people suffering from depression, there's so many people that feel like they're not loved. Ultimately, the consistent thing with both stories is that people want hope, and without hope, you don't feel like you have an opportunity to be at your full potential. At Free Wheelchair Mission, we're looking to give out those free wheelchairs, those brand new wheelchairs, so that people feel that we love them, that we're lifting them up into the wheelchair, but we're also lifting up their hearts and giving them a lift so that they feel positivity. I'm so proud to work at Free Wheelchair Mission. As many of you know, my family's from Haiti. And Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. There's so many problems plaguing that country. And what I love is that even in a place like Haiti, when somebody gets our wheelchair, they know that there are people outside of Haiti that remember their circumstance. They may not have everything around them that they need, but at least when they look at the wheelchair, they know that someone has thought of them and considered them and knows that they have enough dignity to receive something brand new. When I was in Thailand, I also met another woman. Her name is Soya, and we have some pictures of her. Every time I go on one of these trips, and I was telling this to somebody yesterday, there's always one person that gets to you, somebody who rocks you. And Soya was that person. Soya is 30 years old, and you can see her there. She's with her mom. Her mom raises her on her own. Her father is much older, and he lives in another province, and he can't live with them any longer because he has his own medical issues. They live in the north of Chiang Mai, and Soya's mom is a janitor at the local elementary school. And every single day when her mom goes to work, she has to lock Soya in the house so that she won't leave, and it's for her safety. So Soya is in a way in her own prison, right, in her home. So we came to give her a wheelchair. Soya has never been able to walk. Her mother doesn't really know why. She thinks it's something that happened during her pregnancy. And Soya also has some challenges with her speech. But if we run the pictures again, you could see there are some pictures of her and me, and we have a book in our hands. And that book is her journal. And she has a capacity to write at kind of like a 5th grade or elementary school level. And in the journal, she wrote all kinds of words of inspiration, like hope and prayer and blessing. And her mom handed me the journal when we were giving her the wheelchair. And she says, I want you to have this. This is something that's really special to Soya, but because you gave her the wheelchair, she wants to give you a gift. And so you could see right there, I'm getting the journal from Soya, and she's showing. And in Thai culture, they put their hands together and they bow in thanks and also in greeting. Soya was born on Christmas Day, so I call her a miracle wheelchair recipient because of what the significance of that day means to all of us. After I got back to California, I got a message from our partner in Thailand, and it's very rare that we're able to follow up with our wheelchair recipients after. Some of them come from very far away places, and it's just not our model. We're not there to impose upon them, so once we give them the wheelchair, we respect their privacy and they go back home. But I got a message on WhatsApp, and it was actually our partner translating a message from Soya and her mother. And the mother was saying that Soya was so happy and she feels so hopeful and she feels like we changed her life. That's exactly what we're trying to do. One of the things that also tugged at my heart in that story was her mom. When I asked her what was her biggest concern, what was her biggest fear, her biggest fear was passing away, because she said, what's going to happen to Soya? And I thought of my time when I first became a mom, and that was my biggest fear. Every mom that's in this room knows that, is being able to be there for your child throughout their childhood. But Soya's 30 years old, right? But at least now she has a wheelchair, and she has something to keep her a bit safer than she did before. And that's what I told her mom, and she felt encouragement, and we got to see it on the WhatsApp, so that was great. Beyond that, I wanted to share with you that at Free Wheelchair Mission, we're continuing our work. I know I haven't been here since 2019, but Dawn was here, I believe, last year. And so far, we've given out 1.4 million wheelchairs around the world. And a lot of that is thanks to people here in this area. We do about 50 to 60,000 wheelchairs a year. We're still giving them out in container shipments. I know it was very difficult during COVID. I know some of you heard that there were these container issues and delays, but we've gotten back on time with our shipments. And each container still has about 500 wheelchairs in it. And in the last year, we're really, really proud that we added a second factory in Asia. So for a long time, we've had a factory in China. And we're really proud of that factory. The owners are donors, and they are based in Chicago, and they've been holding our hands through this whole journey and being really cost-effective with the pricing. But now we've started giving out through our factory in India. And so that's a really, really important destination for us as we're trying to grow our work there. It's not always easy being a faith-based organization working in countries like this, but we have an excellent factory in India now where we're giving out about 2 containers a year. And our team is still going strong in SoCal and all over the world. We have close to 40 employees now. But ultimately, the heart of what we do is in those countries. And we've been in 94 countries since our founding, and that's really exciting. And we're looking to be in more countries and to do more of this work. Because in the last year, the World Health Organization has estimated now that it's 80 million people in the world, 80 million that need a wheelchair. And the vast majority cannot get one. So you can imagine 80 million people like Soya who could be literally on the ground, or 80 million people like Narang who are just seeking to be like all of us, productive and able to take care of their families. So our solution is under $100. So for under $100, somebody like those that you saw on the screen there can get hope, can feel like they're not forgotten. And I think that that's what God wants us to do. That's my belief, that these individuals, just like all of us, were created in His image. They're all worthy. They all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect and not forgotten. And whatever I can do, whether I'm the leader of Free Wheelchair Mission or a private citizen, I will always remember that. And I feel the calling to remember those individuals. So if there's one thing you take away from today, it's to not forget people like Narang and Soya, even in our own country that may need help. That's what they want. They want to not be forgotten. So I thank you so much for this time and for this wonderful, wonderful dinner that we had, which I would say was pretty much spot on in terms of Thai food. And thank you, Ron. You've been our soldier here. And it's just an honor to do this with you once again.
Thank you. Yeah. How can we pray for you in this coming year as in your role as CEO?
Oh, wow. I would say first, pray for our team. I think, running a nonprofit isn't easy, and people wear multiple hats, and they work really hard. And I say they work just as hard as everyone else, but maybe for a little bit less. But with probably more passion than you would see in a regular company. But people like that need prayer, just like people who work in a church, per se. Right. So definitely pray for our team. And I would say pray for the people in the countries that we serve. Yeah. There's a lot going on in the world right now that's not so great. There's a lot of good going on in the world, and we don't hear about it, for sure, like the people that are our partners that are doing this work with us. But there's war, right? There's natural disaster. In Haiti, we had an assassination of our president, and there's corruption, and there's just an earthquake or a hurricane every other day. And I think about the people who not only give out the wheelchairs with us that are inhibited when those things happen, but the urgency of need for those individuals that need wheelchairs, because they're the ones that are the most vulnerable in those times. So I think we all see those stories on the news, but I don't think our mind then goes to, okay, well, what about the person who may not have a wheelchair? Or what about the person who now can't get pushed in the wheelchair? So that's what I'd like us to pray for.
Great. Well, you'll be around after we adjourn tonight if anybody has
Yeah.
questions, and she'll be
Absolutely.
here at Encounter tomorrow morning, so maybe we can make that a matter of prayer tomorrow, too. So,
Thank you
great.
all.
Thank you, Nuka. We really don't read newspapers, and some of us don't even watch TV news, but you get news on your social media feeds or other feeds that come through, and you know, all the time there's just all sorts of messes going on, and you say to yourself, wow, I wish there was something I could do. You know, you think about parents losing children in tragic accidents, or the recent fires, you know, even in Spokane, let alone Hawaii, Maui. You just shake your head, and so many times in life you feel helpless. And we wish there was something we could do, but we don't even know where to start. Well, tonight is not one of those nights. You can do something. You can do the very thing that is needed. You can provide Free Wheelchair Mission the resource to literally lift somebody off the ground or out of their bed and provide a miracle of mobility. So our goal is a big one. Our goal is to create 1,500 miracles. And Free Wheelchair Mission recipients really do view it as a miracle, because until Free Wheelchair Mission shows up in their town, there really is there's zero chance of getting a wheelchair. A wheelchair just is out of reach. So I just ask you guys, how many miracles do you personally want to create here tonight? And I know a lot of us have gone on shopping trips or gone on vacation, and you know, we've spent a little bit more than we had planned. Is that just my wife, or is that everybody? Oh, I mean me and, oh no, sorry, hey. So, you know, it wouldn't be a horrible thing if tonight was one of those nights when you spent just a little bit more than you had planned. Because for $96, Free Wheelchair Mission can make, ship, and distribute a wheelchair all over the world. I mean, it really is a miracle of mobility. I was walking through the airport about 2 months ago, I think it was, and they had a lottery kiosk, and I normally don't play the lottery, and I wouldn't advocate for it, but I looked, I go, one of the games was 1.5 billion with a B payout. So I did what I guess a lot of people were doing to get it to that amount. I bought a ticket, and I didn't win, but I did think, man, I could get a lot of wheelchairs if I won. But I had about a day and a half to just dream about what would it be like, you know, to be that winner. But I remembered, then I was there just this Wednesday, and I walked by the same kiosk, and for some reason, something Don said last time he was here, he had said, most wheelchair recipients have given up hope. Getting a wheelchair would be like winning the lottery. It would feel like a miracle. So for $96, we can take all of the chance out of it. With the lottery, it's like a 1 in a zillion chances that you're going to win, right? But if you support Free Wheelchair Mission, you have a 100% chance of transforming a life forever. So how can we reach our goal of 1,500 chairs? It's a big number, and this is just one way. If one person gave 20,000, I'm looking. No, I'm not. 2, 15, 3, 10, and so on and so forth. You know, we can get there. This is just one way. And I know what you're saying. Wow, these are big numbers. Doesn't Ron know that inflation is making it harder for us to get by? Our kids have already set an example for us. So, you know, I'm hoping we can do the same. But I do have some good news. There's some very generous people that have been supporting Free Wheelchair Mission for a while. They're not here tonight, and they just said, well, can we give early? And believe it or not, A lot of those big amounts are already taken care of. We're already a third of the way to our goal. We're over $50,000 raised before we even respond here tonight. So we can do this. The kids have showed us the way, but there's still a long ways to go. So a lot of people in this room probably follow sports teams, right? Remember how happy you were last year when the Mariners got to the playoffs, or if you're a hockey fan, hey, Kraken made it into the playoffs in their second year. You know, hey, the Sounders have won the national championship. The Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. You remember how great these experiences were, right? I mean, we thought, wow, we're going to be happy forever now that these things happen. But let me ask you a question. How much joy in your life remains today from those big wins? And they were wonderful experiences. How long does the joy remain with a wheelchair recipient? If you look at these smiles, I don't think the smiles ever go away. That gentleman in the top left, Ernesto. He was on. Peggy and I were there in Mexico, and they put his video on TikTok, and I guess it's the most viewed TikTok that's been out there. And I shared that short little TikTok video with the kids, and I had just mentioned as an aside. His mom told us that it's just he and his mom. His dad left, and they're fending for themselves, and his mom works, and he sells magazines at the sidewalk, and I just kind of told the story really quickly. And as we were out there in the lobby, one of the little girls came by and tugged at my shirt and said, "Mr. Johnson, why did Ernesto's dad leave?" And I was just one little snippet of the story that she picked up on, and these stories are just so powerful. And again, the joy of a wheelchair lasts forever, and I'm sure you've seen it going back to these places and talking to folks. So the gift that you make is really a legacy gift because it transforms somebody's life for the rest of their life. And every wheelchair gift actually affects 3 people, the recipient, and then on average 2 family members. So if you were to give 10 chairs $1,000, that's 30 people that you would be affecting on this earth. So we have a tremendous opportunity to do a lot of good. And I remember something that Pastor Michael told us a couple months ago, I think it was. I'll never forget it. He said, "We are God's plan to alleviate suffering in this world." We see it all around us. We certainly see it in the need for wheelchairs. There's a lot of suffering. What's God's plan to alleviate the suffering? It's us. So we can make a difference. So there's 2 ways for you to respond tonight. You can scan this QR code and give online. It's also on a table tent right in the middle of your table, so you can scan with your phone and give online securely. There's also response cards on each table, and they look like that, but there's also an envelope here. There's also an envelope on the table, so once you fill that information out, just put it in the envelope, and then we'll come by and pick those up right as we adjourn. And that would be for giving via credit card or check. So what I'll do now is just to give us a few minutes to respond. I'm going to play a music video from a recording artist, Courtney Ramirez, that she did for Free Wheelchair Mission. And again, you'll have a couple minutes to respond, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
See my reflection, all these voices welling up inside. I'm caught up somewhere in between the truth and all the lies. So many things that I'm believing, starting to realize I can't rely on my feelings. Gotta hear your voice tonight.
So a couple more things. If you give online, within a couple days, you'll get a receipt via email. And if you fill out a credit card slip or a check, it'll take a few more days to process, but you'll get a receipt via email. But when you get that receipt, will you check to see if the company you work for has a gift matching, a corporate matching program? In recent years, I think last year, somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 came in just from, actually, yeah, it was close to $20,000 came in just from corporations, so because people said, I want you to match it, and they did. So these are just some that we know that do, and there's many, many others as well. So it really helps us meet our goal. And then this next list is a list of just a very small part of the corporate sponsors down in Southern California for Free Wheelchair Mission. And I show this just because you can see there's dentists, there's eye doctors, there's mortgage lenders, there's financial advisors, there's all kinds of tech companies, there's all kinds of businesses here. So if you're a business owner, would you consider using some of the profits from your company to benefit Free Wheelchair Mission? You can start small. I know one mortgage lender that I heard of it down in Southern California. Whenever they close a deal, they do a wheelchair. So there's all, you can get very creative with that. At this point, I'd like to introduce someone that a lot of you know, Monica Finnefrock. So Monica is the foundations and grants manager for Free Wheelchair Mission. She used to be a member here, she and Jake, and what happened to you? Tell the story.
We left for sunny skies.
Yeah, but she's got a couple things to share about future opportunities to support Free Wheelchair Mission, and then just tell us about what's going on with you guys.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, our family left Seattle for Arizona, but it is so great to be back on this stage with so many familiar faces in front of me. My background is in community development and public health, and I worked overseas for many years with organizations that were partners with other organizations overseas and in America and with healthcare. And so when I was first introduced to Free Wheelchair Mission, I was like, this is something I can really get behind. But I was first introduced to Free Wheelchair Mission right here in this building. And that's why this building is so special to me and holds so many neat memories. Having been a former member of Evergreen, I played piano on this stage. My kids were running around back there at one point in time. And this is where I first heard Don Schoendorfer speak about Free Wheelchair Mission and the need that's so great in this world. And then in 2019, I attended the event at the Mercer Island Community Center and met Nuka. And I remember just being so inspired, and I elbowed my husband, I said, I want to work for an organization like that someday. If there's a way I could take all of my background and skill set and work for something like Free Wheelchair Mission, I'd be thrilled. And here I am. So I'm very, very happy to be the Foundations and Grants Manager. I recently had the opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic and go on a distribution trip for the first time. And it was so powerful. And having been a nurse in my past and working in public health, I've worked with people like so many of our recipients. And to see them lifted from the ground or from a mattress or from somebody's lap and put into a wheelchair, and then watch them get pushed down a lane or wheel themselves over to a neighbor's house. It was so powerful, and I just kept thinking over and over again, thank you, God, for all of the people who made this happen. And so I'm so thankful for all of you who tonight are going to share your time. You're here, thank you, and your resources so that people can have the gift of mobility. And there's more ways to share the gift of mobility than just tonight. So I'm going to share a couple of those. And the first one is the coin box that's on your table. And you can share that you can put that on your table as a family. You can share it with your sports team. You can take it trick-or-treating and or have it out on your patio along with a basket of candy. So take a piece of candy, drop in a coin. But just a really neat way to share with your coworkers, your classmates, and your family to raise money towards the Gift of Mobility for Christmas or any other time of the year. Another way to share the Gift of Mobility is through the Move for Mobility. And this is really cool. I did this in the month of May. It's always in the month of May. And you basically raise money for wheelchairs doing something you already do, which is getting outside and moving, or inside as well. I guess you could be on your treadmill in your garage. And so swimming, kayaking, hiking, jogging, and you just create a campaign through our website. Tell your friends about it, share the link, and say, I'm going to run so many miles in the month of May for 10 wheelchairs. And it's a great way to share our mission with others and to get exercise at the same time, because exercise is never bad. And then finally, Miracle Wheels. This book was written by our founder, Don Schoendorfer, and it's his story of how Free Wheelchair Mission came to be, how God put a calling on his life, and his journey of creating Free Wheelchair Mission, creating the wheelchair using his gifts and background in biomedical engineering. It's a great story. It's super inspiring, and we have it in the back. If you would like to purchase a copy, I can help you with that tonight. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Encounter, for hosting, to Ron and the team, Nuka, for your inspiring presentation, and just for all of you for being here tonight with us. So God bless you.
So on your table, you'll see one of these mini wheelchairs, and you've gotten to know your table mates over dinner, I'm sure. So what I was going to do is, on the count of 3, everybody point to the person at your table that you think would be able to take this home and use it as a conversation starter. So who at your table is most likely? So on the count of 3, point to them. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's who gets, go ahead and give them that mini wheelchair. Yeah, we don't want to have to ship these back. So take them and use them as a conversation starter. And we actually have a few out there. So if you buy a book, you can also get a free one. So let me wrap up and just say thank you again for making this a priority for your Saturday night and for providing the miracle of mobility. I do want to say a special thank you to the Encounter staff, Pastors Michael and Rob and Sarah and John and Phyllis and Jorge, who moved all these tables and chairs for us. Also, thanks to Lee and Esther Beckman and Gordy, who took care of all the food and beverages. Just great job with that. Grace and Ben, Cindy, Walton, Thelma, Kent on cameras, Tess and Carmen for photography, and the special support from Peggy as well, my wife. So, and just thanks Nuka and Monica, who worked tirelessly to give the gift of mobility. So I hope you thought spending the last couple hours was time well spent with us. And just say God bless, and God bless Free Wheelchair Mission. Pastor Michael, maybe I think it would be fitting to come up and just say a closing prayer, if that's okay. I didn't tell you I was going to do that to you, but you're a professional.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, can I ask you to just bow your heads in prayer with me? Father in heaven, we're so grateful to you. Thank you for your heart of compassion. Lord, you left the riches and the glories of heaven, took on a human body, and you entered into the brokenness of humanity, that you might die for the forgiveness of all the evil we have ever done, and restore us into that rightful relationship with you. God, I pray that we would follow in your footsteps of entering into the brokenness of those who are in despair. And I pray that you would move our hearts towards genuine and pure. God tomorrow.